Welcome to BookView. I'm Dennis Campbell. Now, although we're shooting these first few episodes on the Worldview set, our plan is to dive deeply into the topic of books, their writers, we the reader, and the dreamers and doers who actually write and publish their works no matter where they appear. It's designed for a dialogue, those who love to write, create, and read books of all genres. Now, we'll talk with established and new authors, publishers, and discuss the changing face of publishing worldwide. And while you may or may not have heard of an author, our goal is to have you pause and order their book before reaching the end of our program. Why? Because we love books. We understand the birthing process their creators go through, and through our channel, we want to introduce the world to the authors whose works we think you'll enjoy. Now, we're joined today in our inaugural show by an author who's also a very good friend. Paul Samuel Doleman and I have known each other off and on for almost 17 years. And on one summer's day, he happened to stick his thumb out for a ride on Martha's Vineyard. He needed to travel about 16 miles across the island back to his folks' summer home and was picked up by the most unlikely of drivers. Now, the man who picked him up is fictitiously known on television as somewhat of a curmudgeon. He was the partner and guiding light behind Jerry Seinfeld's television program, Seinfeld, and indeed was the inspiration for the character that George Costanza was. Actually, was played by Jason Alexander. And he'd go on to create his own program, which ran for 8 seasons, Curb Your Enthusiasm. Now, Paul's book will be re-released in May as a Penguin Gotham hardcover. The title? Hitchhiking with Larry David. Paul Samuel Doleman, welcome to BookView.
Good to be here. I feel like because there is a British element, the whole time you were speaking, I wanted to do bum 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 bum. It should have had that back of bum bum bum. Welcome, I am Leonard Pintgarnell.
This is going to be the very, very serious interview of the day.
I need a pipe for this author intro. I realize to give me a little bit more credibility and maybe interesting eyewear. The most important component in a career, I've realized in LA, in lieu of any real talent, is interesting eyewear. You got to have really cool shades and work in a shop.
Can we retrace the steps that brought you to Martha's Vineyard that summer? How did you find yourself in Martha's Vineyard the summer that you stuck your thumb out and Larry David picked you up?
Well, all good stories are usually a love story, and they usually start with a woman and a girl. And I was going through a very difficult breakup with a woman in the book I refer to as the miracle. Beautiful, beautiful person. But we weren't working for a variety of reasons. And when it became unmanageable for me, I fled to Martha's Vineyard just to get out of Nashville, Tennessee, where I was at the time. And I went to stay with my parents in a very tiny cabin out in the woods. My parents are wonderful people, but they're in their 80s. So if you think in Seinfeld, sort of George Costanza living at home with it wasn't a good idea. Let's just say that. I would like to say that I had traded one form of suffering for another.
So you find yourself in Martha's Vineyard with your parents, and there's a whole bit of self-discovery of your relationship with parents, which we'll get into in a second. How did you find yourself in this situation where you needed to be picked up, and what did you think when you saw who it was that was actually picking you up in the car?
Well, it's fascinating because I'm really enthralled with this whole concept of interlocking synchronicity and elements of one moment here, one moment there, whether it's meeting you years ago. And I was up there. I had gone bike riding the day before my very first day on the island. I did too much. My legs were killing me. And I had promised some people I'd meet them on the far end of the island at a beach. So I couldn't ride the bike. There was no car, so I stuck out my thumb. And when he pulled over, I got in the car, I thought, oh my God, it's Larry David picking me up hitchhiking. But know that at the time, I'd never watched any of his television shows, which is almost heresy. And I thought that would never come up. It does.
Wait a minute, you'd never seen an episode of either Seinfeld or Curb Your Enthusiasm?
No, I'd looked over the shoulder of my parents who watched Seinfeld religiously, literally, every day. They know every line. And I just not a TV guy. I tried to explain that to Larry at the time, too, because it did come up. So I got in the car, and Larry didn't drive. He was leaning back and looking at me. And he asked me if I was a serial killer. So I thought, wow, that's a pretty heavy question. He said, you're not one of those serial killers or something, are you? I thought about it, and then I said, well, even if I am, it's Martha's Vineyard and it's the summertime, so I'm on vacation. I'm not working, and you're safe. He laughed, and then he gave me a ride completely across the island, and we ended up having a very deep dialogue. We laughed. We learned about, I learned stuff about him. He was very open and engaging. And then I was saying things like, well, this is fantastic. We need to have lunch or something and continue. He's like, absolutely not. No, this is it. One ride and you're out, kiddo. And so at the end of the ride, we sat there and talked for a few minutes. And then he said, all right, get out of the car. He brought me way out of his way. And he did have a cryptic sort of prophecy in it. He says, well, maybe I'll see you around. Are you here? And I said, well, I'm only here a couple of weeks. Now, know that while it sounds like a small place, Martha's Vineyard, it's only, I think the whole island around is 50-something square miles. You could go years and not even see somebody who lives a mile down the street. I met people that live around Larry David for years and have never seen him once on the island because there's long dirt roads and it's not like one little tiny village. It's not Gilligan's Island. But we just kept running into each other. We had this incredible connection. Like wherever we went, there we were that summer of the book. And I wasn't writing a book or taking notes going, oh, here's my ticket out of Palookaville. I was just having an experience and I was staying open. I met a lot of wonderful people. And it went from something I was writing on a computer, on a Word document, to a PDF, and now a book that I put out and then got picked up and bought by Gotham Penguin, and it comes out May 30th in hardcover. And it's been optioned for potential film by a producer in Los Angeles, where I am today, and that's why I'm in town, and among other opportunities.
It is crazy stuff. Now, you say you've never seen any of his shows, so how did you know it was him? How did you know who he was?
Good question. And when he pulled over at the end of the ride, or during the ride, at one point he said, wait a minute, how did you know it was me if you had never seen anything? I didn't know my shows. And this is a book show, so I can confess. It's like, hi, my name's Paul, and I'm a readaholic. And people, hi, Paul. I read. I'm an insatiable reader. I read everything, and so I'm very much up on pop culture. And I had just read not long before Larry picked me up. He did a great op-ed in the New York Times. There was something else he had written somewhere. It might have been the New Yorker. So I knew who he was, and I knew what he looked like. I didn't know he was on the island. I didn't know he came to Martha's Vineyard. And, and he's a unique looking guy. And it's kind of crazy that's how I knew who he was. But, and of course I know what Seinfeld is. I had heard of Curb Your Enthusiasm. Now, I don't want to give too much away, but on the ride, we made a deal, because he was going to kick me out when he found out I hadn't watched any of his shows.
As he would have every right to do.
As he should, I should say. He was going to give me the Das Boot. And so I said, all right. So we made a deal, and I said, which one has a less offensive laugh track? And he says, well, you want to watch Curb because there's no laugh track. And well, I didn't watch during the summer because the weather was so beautiful. I had the summer weather defense, which I employ later in the book. I did end up watching Curb, and it's a brilliant. I want to give Larry, like, he needs a plug. It's a brilliant show. And I have watched some Seinfeld since, not much. And believe it or not, last summer when I saw him in Martha's Vineyard, a bunch of us sitting around on a porch eating pizza in the Chillmark store. He still brings up, I can't believe you had never seen Seinfeld, he said. That defies. And I said, I don't watch television. I'm sorry, but I have, I will watch, maybe we can exchange some publicity or another ride somewhere.
Well, when we come back, and we will, we'll take a look at some of the things that you discussed and how this was not a one-off situation, that the two of you would repeatedly run into each other over the course of the summer. We'll do that when BookView with Dennis Campbell continues after this break. Bum, 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 bum.